Beloved listener, there comes a moment in the rhythm of existence when the invisible winds change direction. When life itself pauses, breathes, and whispers, "It is time." Those who hear that whisper are not ordinary. They are the rare souls, the awakened ones. The few who are ready to receive the substance of a new order. The prosperity shift. This shift is not of coins or commerce. It is the unseen realignment of thought, faith, and vibration. It is the dawning realization that abundance is not earned by struggle, but drawn by alignment. The world has taught humanity to chase, to toil, to fear the lack of tomorrow, but the truth, the golden truth that governs all, is that what you believe and boldly claim becomes your living experience. The rare soul does not beg life for bread, it commands the banquet to appear. It does not ask for opportunity, it becomes opportunity itself. Prosperity is not the result of labor, but of law. The divine law that answers every word, every image, every conviction you send into the ethers. If you speak from lack, the law obeys lack. If you speak from fullness, the law delivers fullness. The shift begins when you decide that your words are no longer idle sounds, but creative decrees. Life waits upon your command, not your complaint. You are not a servant to circumstance, circumstance is servant to consciousness. The rare soul realizes this, and therefore steps out of the world's hypnosis of limitation. You are surrounded by invisible substance, an ocean of spiritual energy awaiting form. This substance does not move by time, nor by reason, but by faith. The instant you speak a word charged with conviction, the unseen goes to work, shaping the scene. The rare soul knows that imagination is not fantasy but prophecy. To picture the life you desire is to invite it. To hold that picture with unwavering calm is to magnetize its manifestation. But to doubt, to fear, to speak against your own vision is to scatter the seed before it roots. The prosperity shift begins when thought and word are joined in perfect agreement with divine abundance. Many have said, "I will believe when I see." But the rare soul reverses that. "I will see because I believe." The world mirrors your inner decree. If you call yourself poor, the mirror reflects poverty. If you call yourself favored, blessed, and guided, so shall it be. The rare soul no longer waits for proof. Proof is the echo of faith already spoken. The moment you claim the unseen wealth of the infinite, that wealth begins to assemble itself around you in ways reason cannot explain. Doors open. Delays dissolve. Helpers appear. It is not magic, it is law. This law has never failed, it cannot fail. It is impersonal, precise, eternal. You cannot draw love by vibrating fear, nor draw wealth while affirming want. The rare soul understands this and becomes a master of inner atmosphere. They do not let doubt linger, for doubt is a thief. They do not speak of delay, for delay is illusion. Instead, they dwell in the awareness that everything desired is already complete in the invisible, awaiting their recognition. Recognition is the golden key. When you say, "I am rich in divine substance now," you turn the key. When you say, "I am guided to success in perfect timing," you turn it again. Each word of faith is a movement of power. Each word of fear is a withdrawal of it. The prosperity shift does not begin in the marketplace. It begins in the mind. It begins when the inner conversation changes. No longer do you say, "I can't afford it." You say, "The supply of the infinite meets every demand." No longer do you fear tomorrow. You declare, "Tomorrow is filled with favor prepared for me." The outer world bends to the inner tone. That is the secret most never grasp, that the voice you use inwardly builds the conditions you meet outwardly. The rare soul learns to speak to life as one who commands, not one who pleads. They understand that the universe listens only to certainty. Half faith yields half results. Whole faith moves mountains. There are those who wait for signs, but the rare soul is the sign. When you rise in knowing, when your words carry the calm of divine authority, the shift has already occurred. Prosperity begins to follow you like a shadow, for you have become one with its source. The mind aligned with truth cannot be poor, cannot be defeated, cannot be denied. When you think from lack, you separate yourself from the infinite flow. But when you think from plenty, even before evidence appears, you are standing in the stream of unending supply. There is a vibration to every word, and the universe translates vibration into form. Say, "I am blessed," and the law of good rushes to prove it. Say, I am struggling, and struggle multiplies. This is not punishment, it is precision. The rare soul therefore guards their tongue as a sacred instrument. They bless what they have, and it multiplies. They speak only of health, peace, and abundance, and these form around them like a garden of radiant outcomes. The shift is not in what you do, but in what you know, and what you dare to affirm in the face of contradiction. The rare soul does not ask, when will it happen? They affirm, it is already so. The moment you accept your good as present in the unseen, it begins its journey into visibility. To act from that knowing is faith in motion. To prepare for the blessing before it arrives is proof of belief. Prosperity responds to readiness. The universe will not send harvest where no field has been prepared. Therefore, prepare, not by worry but by expectancy. Set your table for abundance. Speak as one already provided for. Think as one already guided. Feel as one already fulfilled. There are ages in which people work hard, but reap little, because they live in disconnection from the law. But this is the dawn of a new consciousness, a new era of spiritual wealth. The prosperity shift is not coming, it is here. It begins the moment you awaken to the realization that divine supply is infinite, and you are its rightful heir. There is no competition in the realm of spirit. What is yours cannot be withheld. You draw to yourself what matches your inner state. The rare soul, understanding this, no longer resents, no longer envies, no longer fears another's success. They rejoice in every sign of abundance, for they know it confirms the law that works for all. If you wish to step into this shift, begin now, not by doing but by declaring. Say, I live in divine plenty. Say, I am open to every good and perfect gift. Say, nothing and no one can block my flow. Speak it until the vibration fills every cell of your being. Then act as if it were true, for it is. Prosperity will not come because you chase it, it will come because you have become it. The rare soul receives this not by striving but by surrender. Surrender to the truth that the infinite always provides, always supports, always fulfills its own. The old order of struggle is dissolving. The new order of effortless alignment is rising. The prosperity shift begins now, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, in the heart that dares to believe. Rare souls, this is your hour. The invisible winds are moving in your favor. Stand still in faith. Speak with power. Expect with calm certainty. And watch as the unseen substance gathers itself into the form of your divine decree. Prosperity begins the moment you align your thoughts and words with divine abundance. Every life is a mirror of its inner speech, and the universe listens to the tone of your belief, far more than the sound of your voice. The invisible law that governs all creation does not respond to effort alone, but to the vibration behind your thought. When you speak from fear, you call forth resistance. When you speak from faith, you summon flow. The beginning of prosperity is not in the accumulation of possessions, but in the renewal of consciousness. It is when your thoughts cease to contradict your desires and your words become a declaration of truth, rather than a confession of doubt. To align with divine abundance is to realize that the substance of all things is already complete. There is no lack in spirit, no shortage in the infinite. The apparent limits of the world are shadows cast by human belief in separation. When you remember that you are connected to an inexhaustible source, your dependence on outer conditions dissolves. You cease to beg the world for supply, and begin to command it from within. Alignment is the quiet certainty that what you require is already prepared in the invisible, waiting for your recognition. It is not forced, not frantic, not desperate. It is calm, steady, and sure. The mind aligned with divine abundance no longer says, I need, but I have. It no longer declares, I will someday. But it is done now. This shift in language shifts the entire vibration of life. The creative substance of the universe moves through thought and word. Your word is a wand. Your thought the current that directs the unseen power into form. When thought and word are united in harmony, the result must appear. When they are divided by doubt or contradiction, results delay or dissolve. To align your thought is to choose only those ideas that affirm abundance. To align your word is to speak only that which magnifies faith. Every time you say, I can't afford, or I never have enough, you instruct the universe to confirm that statement. The law has no sense of humor. It simply reproduces what it is told. The rare individual who watches their words carefully begins to see their world change quickly. For every spoken word carries the seed of manifestation. Alignment requires discipline of attention. The mind left to wander drifts toward lack, comparison, and fear. But the awakened soul trains the mind to dwell only on sufficiency and increase. When you give attention to what is missing, you feed the vibration of absence. When you give attention to what is present and declare it good, you amplify abundance. This is not denial of reality, it is mastery of perception. The world rearranges itself around the focus of your consciousness. As you think of plenty, as you speak of supply, the invisible law moves people, circumstances, and ideas to mirror that inner conviction. The law does not fail. It is precise, obedient, unchanging. Many seek prosperity through endless doing, but true abundance comes through being in harmony with the source. When you are inwardly aligned, right action flows effortlessly. Opportunities present themselves without strain. Intuitive guidance leads you toward increase. To act without alignment is to row upstream. To act from alignment is to sail with the current. Prosperity is the outer sign of inner agreement. The universe cannot deliver what you contradict with your own mind. Every worry, every complaint, every fearful word cancels what your faith builds. Alignment means refusing to speak against your own good. It means holding your thoughts steady even when appearances seem contrary. The law of abundance does not respond to appearances, it responds to certainty. The language of alignment is gratitude. Gratitude is the proof of faith. When you give thanks for what has not yet appeared, you claim it as already yours. The grateful heart magnetizes blessings because it vibrates as if the good were already received. Gratitude transforms desire into realization. Each word of thanks spoken in sincerity releases unseen forces to fulfill the vision. The ungrateful soul delays their own good by focusing on what is lacking. The grateful soul accelerates it by acknowledging the unseen supply. When you wake each morning and say, "Everything I need is flowing to me now," you have aligned thought and word with divine abundance. The law of abundance is exact. It brings to each what they expect. Expectation is faith in motion. When you expect increase, increase becomes inevitable. To align with abundance is to live in expectation of good, not as a hope but as a knowing. You do not wonder whether supply will appear. You know it cannot fail to appear. You do not watch the calendar or the clock. You trust divine timing. The consciousness of abundance never worries about when or how. It knows that what is rightfully yours must reach you, and cannot be taken by another. You attract by your state, not by your striving. The moment you feel rich in spirit, the outer mirrors that feeling. The power of your word is magnified when emotion supports it. Speak your affirmations not as empty phrases but as living truths. Feel the vibration of wealth, of peace, of sufficiency, as though you already dwell within them. The law responds to feeling as swiftly as to thought. To align with divine abundance, you must feel rich before the evidence of riches appears. You must feel secure before security arrives. This is the secret the world overlooks. That feeling is creative. Thought sets the direction, word sets the command, feeling adds the force. When all three are one, manifestation is certain. There is no competition in divine abundance. What is yours cannot be withheld, and what belongs to another cannot be taken from them. Alignment dissolves jealousy and fear, because it knows that the supply of the infinite is endless. When you see another prosper, bless them. Their success confirms the working of the law. To resent another's gain is to declare lack in yourself. To rejoice in their good is to affirm that the same law is active for you. The aligned soul blesses every sign of wealth and multiplies it in consciousness. The law responds by multiplying it in form. Your speech must be watched as carefully as your thought. Idle words of complaint, jesting about poverty, or careless talk of limitation build invisible barriers. Each word has life. Each word either builds your fortune or erodes it. When you say, "Money flows freely to me," the law begins to obey. When you say, "Nothing ever works for me," it obeys as well. To align is to speak only what you wish to see. If you cannot speak abundance with confidence, speak silence until faith grows strong enough to command. The silence of expectancy is better than the noise of doubt. to align with divine abundance. Act as though your supply is certain. Do not postpone joy until the evidence arrives. Live from the vibration of fullness now. Dress, move, and speak as one who knows that the universe supports them in every step. Faith is not waiting, it is walking. When you walk in the assurance of divine plenty, paths appear, people assist, doors open, and invisible help surrounds you. The world rearranges itself around the posture of your belief. The rare soul who understands this principle no longer prays for wealth but from wealth, no longer asks for success, but assumes it. The very assumption draws it near. The alignment of thought and word with divine abundance is a sacred practice. It demands vigilance and persistence. There will be moments when appearances whisper lack, when circumstances seem contrary. But the aligned soul stands firm, refusing to let the outer dictate the inner. They remind themselves that the unseen is greater than the seen, that the cause is always within. As they persist in this awareness, the invisible law unfolds visible prosperity in due order. The change in outer life is only the reflection of inner mastery. Prosperity begins the moment the heart accepts the truth that supply is spiritual, infinite, and already present, awaiting only the command of faith, filled thought and word. The unseen substance of life responds instantly to faith-filled declaration, not fearful striving. There is a divine intelligence that moves through all things, an invisible substance that waits for instruction. It is not persuaded by effort or emotion, but by the tone of belief behind every word and thought. When you speak from certainty, the invisible power hastens to fulfill your decree. When you speak from fear or doubt, it withholds its expression because the command is divided. Faith is the magnetic language of creation. It is the vibration that tells the unseen substance, "Form now according to my word." The whole universe listens to this tone, for it recognizes only authority and alignment, not worry or pleading. Many spend their lives striving, pushing, forcing, believing that the harder they work, the more worthy they become of abundance. Yet the universe is not impressed by struggle. The unseen substance does not respond to exhaustion, it responds to faith. Striving is born of fear that the good desired may not come, while faith is the calm assurance that it already has. To declare from faith is to speak as one who knows the outcome is settled, who understands that the law of creation cannot fail. To speak from fear is to broadcast confusion into the invisible, commanding both increase and lack at once. The law cannot choose between two masters. It mirrors what is dominant in vibration, not what is loudest in effort. The creative force that shapes life is formless energy awaiting pattern. Every thought you think, every word you speak impresses a pattern upon it. When the pattern is infused with faith, the result is swift and sure. When the pattern is clouded with doubt, the result is delay or distortion. The unseen substance has no choice, it obeys the feeling you send. Faith is not hope, it is conviction. Hope looks to the future, faith claims the present. Hope says, "It will come someday." Faith says, "It is already mine." When you declare from that place, the unseen moves instantly, because it recognizes the vibration of truth. Truth is not what you wish, it is what you accept as real now. Every prosperous life begins with a declaration that defies appearance. It begins with words spoken in faith, while the evidence still seems absent. The unseen substance does not wait for conditions to be favorable, it creates the conditions. The moment you affirm with certainty, the invisible realm rearranges itself to bring the visible into harmony with your statement. The law of life functions like a mirror. It cannot reflect what has not been shown. If you hold before it the image of fear, you see fear's reflection. If you hold before it the image of abundance, abundance must appear. The unseen substance responds to your conviction as the seed responds to sunlight. It cannot resist the power of belief, for belief is the essence of divine law in motion. Fearful striving is born from the illusion of separation, the belief that supply is outside yourself. When you believe that abundance is something to chase, you affirm distance between yourself and your good. But the unseen substance is not outside, it is within and all around. You are immersed in it, and it moves through your consciousness. The instant you declare your unity with the infinite, the barrier dissolves. Striving becomes unnecessary because you no longer attempt to attract what is already yours. You do not chase, you command. The consciousness of oneness eliminates effort, because it knows that every need is met before it is spoken. The unseen substance is intelligent and impartial. It does not distinguish between big or small, easy or hard, possible or impossible. It simply fulfills the pattern impressed upon it. The human mind creates division and hierarchy, but the divine law knows none. It is as simple to attract a palace as a pebble, for both are expressions of the same energy. The difference lies only in the intensity of belief. When you say, "This will be hard," you instruct the law to make it hard. When you say, "This unfolds with ease," you instruct it to flow smoothly. Faith is the language of ease. Fear is the language of resistance. The unseen substance obeys whichever voice you use. To declare from faith is to stand in authority. It is to know that your word carries creative power, because it is one with the word of the infinite. The moment you speak with conviction, the unseen responds. This response may not be visible immediately, but it is immediate in the invisible. Forces are set in motion, people are moved, opportunities begin to align. Timing adjusts itself to deliver the result in perfect order. When you doubt, you interfere with that order. You dig up the seed to see if it grows, and in doing so, you disturb its unfolding. Faith does not question, it knows. Fearful striving questions everything. Faith rests in the assurance that what is spoken with conviction must come to pass. The unseen substance cannot be fooled by words without belief. It reads vibration, not vocabulary. A person may repeat affirmations endlessly, but if their heart is filled with fear, the declaration carries no creative force. True faith is felt before it is spoken. It is a stillness, a knowing that transcends reason. When you reach that state, even one word can move mountains. The tone of faith is not loud but steady, not emotional but sure. It does not beg or demand, it declares and allows. It trusts the unseen process completely. That is why miracles seem effortless to those who understand the law. They do not strain to create, they align to receive. Every moment of fearful striving sends a signal of resistance into the unseen. It says, "I do not believe this can happen unless I make it happen." This denies the divine intelligence that orchestrates all things. Faith, on the other hand, invites that intelligence to work freely. It opens the channel through which substance flows. The unseen substance cannot flow through tension, it flows through relaxation. When you release anxiety and declare with calm certainty, you become a clear vessel for creation. The more you rest in faith, the faster things unfold. The moment you cease striving, you enter the rhythm of divine order, and life begins to carry you forward effortlessly. Faith-filled declaration is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It takes the invisible idea and anchors it into form through vibration. Every success, every manifestation, begins as a declaration spoken with unwavering certainty. The wealth you desire, the opportunity you seek, the healing you long for, all exist now in the invisible substance. They are not waiting to be created but to be recognized. The declaration of faith is the act of recognition. It says, "This is mine by divine right." The law hears that statement and arranges itself to make it visible. The declaration of fear says, "I don't have it yet," and the law continues to confirm that condition. You live in what you declare, for words are creative containers of belief. To live by faith is not to deny effort but to sanctify it. When your actions flow from faith, they are guided, purposeful, and effective. When they flow from fear, they are scattered and exhausting. The unseen substance blesses the act that is born from inner certainty. It multiplies every step taken in alignment, and drains every step taken in anxiety. That is why some people achieve with ease what others chase in vain. They are not more talented, they are more aligned. Their declaration precedes their effort. They speak the end from the beginning, and the unseen substance fulfills it through their inspired action. The rhythm of divine creation is simple: believe, declare, receive. The moment you skip belief and leap into striving, you reverse the flow. The law of creation is not mechanical but spiritual. It does not answer to pressure, it answers to peace. When you declare with faith, you harmonize with the divine pulse that moves galaxies and grows gardens. That pulse knows no limitation. It moves instantly to fulfill any decree spoken in the vibration of certainty. The unseen substance is always listening, always ready, always responsive to faith-filled declaration. For faith is the language of the infinite itself. Rare souls attract wealth and opportunity by embodying the vibration of certainty and gratitude. The rare soul does not chase after blessings, it magnetizes them. It understands that the true secret of attraction lies not in external effort, but in the inner atmosphere one carries. The unseen universe reads vibration, not words, and the vibration of certainty is the highest call to prosperity. When you walk with the energy of someone who knows they are guided, supplied, and favored, life rushes to confirm that belief. Opportunities unfold with ease, resources gather in your path, and help arrives before you call for it. The rare soul has learned that faith is not a thought, but a state of being. It is the calm knowing that the law of good never fails, and that divine substance always fulfills its appointed purpose. Certainty is a quiet power. It is not arrogance, nor is it stubbornness, it is the serene conviction that the infinite cannot disappoint. The rare soul carries this certainty like a garment of light. Even in delay, they do not waver. Even when evidence appears contrary, they do not panic. They know that appearances are temporary shadows, and that the truth of abundance is unchanging. When you live from this vibration, you no longer oscillate between hope and fear. You become stable in faith, and stability is magnetic. The universe trusts the mind that is consistent in belief, and it delivers swiftly to those who no longer question. Every wavering thought sends mixed signals into the field of creation, but every consistent declaration, in certainty, solidifies the invisible pattern of good. The rare soul's certainty becomes a command to the unseen, and the unseen obeys. Gratitude is the twin of certainty. Together they form the highest frequency of manifestation. Gratitude is not a reaction to having received, it is the acknowledgement that you already have. The rare soul gives thanks not for what appears, but for what is in the unseen. They understand that the moment gratitude is felt, the unseen substance moves to materialize the cause of that gratitude. Gratitude declares completion, while complaint declares lack. To be thankful before evidence appears is the mark of mastery. When you give thanks for abundance, the law interprets it as possession and multiplies it. When you give thanks for opportunity, the law opens new doors. The rare soul's heart is continually blessing, continually recognizing the good already present, continually radiating appreciation for life. That radiation becomes a signal to the universe that this one is ready for more. The vibration of certainty and gratitude transforms the entire energy field of a person. It changes posture, tone, thought, and aura. You can feel it when such a person enters a room. There is peace about them, a confidence that is not spoken but felt. Life bends around such a vibration. People are drawn to help them without knowing why. Circumstances seem to rearrange themselves to serve their path. This is not coincidence, but law. The universe always cooperates with a consciousness that mirrors its own abundance. When you embody certainty, you align with the divine rhythm that knows no lack. When you embody gratitude, you amplify that rhythm until it manifests in visible form. The rare soul is not merely wishing for prosperity, they are living as prosperity. Most people attempt to attract wealth from a vibration of absence. They focus on what is missing and try to fix it by effort. But the rare soul begins from fullness. They do not wait for proof to feel rich, they feel rich to attract proof. Their language is different. They do not say, "I need more money." They say, "All that I need is already supplied." They do not say, "I hope this works out." They say, "Everything is unfolding perfectly." Such language is not denial, it is spiritual precision. Words charged with certainty command the law of increase, while words laced with worry repel it. Gratitude adds warmth and joy to those words, infusing them with living energy that the unseen recognizes immediately. The vibration of certainty is born from understanding divine law. You cannot fake it, for the unseen reads sincerity. When you know that every thought has substance, every word has power, and every emotion shapes outcome, you no longer entertain fear lightly. You guard your mind as a sacred temple. You select thoughts as carefully as a gardener selects seeds. You nurture only those ideas that affirm abundance, harmony, and guidance. Certainty grows from repetition of truth, from spiritual discipline, from refusing to compromise with appearances. Each time you act as though your supply is guaranteed, your certainty strengthens. Each time you give thanks for what you cannot yet see, your vibration rises higher. The rare soul trains their mind to live in the feeling of answered prayer, rather than the longing of unfulfilled desire. Gratitude amplifies this power because it opens every gate that fear closes. Fear contracts energy, gratitude expands it. Fear says, "What if I lose?" Gratitude says, "I can only gain." Fear looks at limitation, gratitude looks at sufficiency. The rare soul chooses gratitude as a constant posture, not an occasional practice. They give thanks for challenges because each one refines their faith. They give thanks for delay because it strengthens their trust. They give thanks for lessons because each lesson carries hidden increase. Gratitude turns everything into gold because it reinterprets every event through the eyes of abundance. When you live in the vibration of certainty and gratitude, you become a tuning fork for wealth. The frequency you emit calls matching frequencies into your experience. The more consistent your tone, the more consistent your results. Life stops feeling random. It becomes rhythmic, patterned, harmonious. The right people appear, the right doors open, the right timing unfolds. You realize that prosperity was never withheld, only misaligned. The rare soul does not wait for outer signs to change before they shift their vibration. They shift their vibration and watch outer signs change accordingly. They understand that life is not happening to them but through them, and this awareness makes them creators rather than reactors. To embody certainty is to release struggle. You cease to chase opportunity, and instead recognize that opportunity is drawn to stability. The vibration of uncertainty repels progress, because it signals doubt in the law. The vibration of certainty attracts effortlessly, because it signals confidence in divine order. The rare soul walks with assurance, knowing that every step is guided, that divine intelligence arranges every detail perfectly. They speak calmly, act boldly, and rest deeply in the knowing that all things work together for their expansion. This calm assurance creates an atmosphere where miracles become normal. To embody gratitude is to multiply blessings. Whatever you bless increases, and whatever you criticize diminishes. Gratitude blesses everything it touches. When you bless your finances, they expand. When you bless your work, it flourishes. When you bless others' success, you share in their increase. Gratitude eliminates envy and comparison, because it recognizes that the universe is infinite, and that everyone's good is unique and abundant. The rare soul practices gratitude so consistently that it becomes their natural state. They find reasons to give thanks before the mind can find reasons to complain. They speak words of blessing over every situation and, in doing so, transform the atmosphere around them. Certainty and gratitude are not merely feelings, they are creative powers. They shape thought into form with mathematical precision. When you live in their frequency, you stop asking if the law works. You become proof that it does. You discover that wealth is not pursuit but permission, not chance but consciousness. The rare soul does not wait to feel worthy. They know worthiness is inherent. They do not look outward for validation. They draw from the infinite well within. Their energy declares, "I am one with divine abundance," and the universe echoes, "So it is." In this vibration, wealth and opportunity are not separate gifts but natural expressions of alignment. They come as easily as breath. For the soul that lives in certainty and gratitude has transcended the struggle of cause and effect. They have become one with the cause itself. Every movement of their thought creates harmony. Every word sends out waves of blessing. Every action carries unseen support. The rare soul has mastered the secret of prosperity, that the outer world is nothing but the reflection of the inner vibration. And that vibration, when set to certainty and gratitude, becomes an irresistible magnet for all that is good.